In the previous class, we discussed about audit notebook and audit working paper. Today, we are going to discuss the working paper in detail. We discussed that while conducting audit, auditor is using lots of documents. He's collecting lots of information, facts and figures, and he's also maintaining a notebook. And all this information, documents, facts and figures, and the notebook used by auditor and keeping it with himself after completing audit is called working papers. So basically, all the documents, information, facts and notebook used by auditor for making his opinion, audit opinion, we call it working papers. Which things will be included in the working papers? So these are the list of the things which will be included in the working paper. The first one is the audit program, copy of the audit program, audit notebook. He will also keep a record. He's also using this audit notebook in his audit. He's using the audit program. He's keeping a copy of the appointment letter. Debtors and creditors means the account receivables and account payables, getting information about this thing. Opening and closing trial balance, opening trial balance of the company and closing trial balance of the company, because he's using this trial balance in his audit. Copy of audit program, it is repeated. Rules of the organization, the rules and regulations of the company, and memorandum and article of association. The auditor is also using these documents in his audit. So these are also part of the working paper. You can say that these are the working papers. Lists of investments, where the company invested their money. So a list of the investments. Adjusting journal entries. He's also keeping a record of the adjusting journal entries. Summary of the minute book. I told you about the minutes book. The board of directors, the meetings of the board of director, and the decisions taken by the board of directors in these meetings. We call it summary of the minutes book. And then explanation sort, which I told you, if some figures are missing, if there are some mistakes, vouchers are missing, receipts are missing, so they are calling explanation from the concerned member, concerned you can say employee regarding that thing. So we call it explanation. So in working paper, all these things are included. So then the purpose of maintaining audit working paper. What is the purpose of why we are keeping the working papers? Why we need these working papers? So following are the main reason for maintaining the audit working papers. The first thing is they show the extent to which accounting principles and auditing standards have been applied. Now these working papers will tell any third party that whether the auditor followed the accounting principles and auditing standards or not. Also, the company followed the accounting principles in their books of accounts or not. So one of the reasons for maintaining the working papers is to check whether the auditor who is performing the audit, whether he followed accounting principles and the auditing standards or not. The second reason is they provide the required support for the auditor's report. When auditor is making his report, so he is using these working papers, and on the base of these working papers, he is making his audit report. So the working papers are used for making the auditor's report. The third thing is they also reveal the efficiency with which the audit work was done. In the previous class, I told you that the quality of the audit is judged by the efficiency of the working papers. If by the, you can say, the quality of the working papers, if the auditor maintains good quality working papers, so it shows the efficiency of that audit work. So if the auditor, he is maintaining quality working papers, it is showing the efficiency of the audit work, whether auditor performs good audit work or bad audit work. The fourth one is they can be used as evidence in the court to defend himself against negligence in his duty. I told you in the previous class that if the client is suing the auditor in the court of law against the negligence in his duty. Negligence in his duty means that the auditors did not perform his duty honestly. So, in that case, the quality of the working paper in the court of law will defend the auditor. So, they can be used as evidence in the court. It will be an evidence that I performed my work efficiently and effectively. Auditor, he can claim in the court of law that I performed my work efficiently and effectively. So these working papers can be used as evidence in the court to defend himself against negligence in his duty. And the fifth one is they help the auditor in finalizing his report quickly. So if you have good quality working paper, properly arranged, so quickly you can finalize the audit report. You can give your opinion quickly. So this is the purpose of maintaining audit working paper. So we discussed that it will tell us the extent to which accounting principles and auditing standards have been applied. They provide the required support for auditor's report. In making the auditor's report, these working papers will help. They also reveal the efficiency with which audit work was done. I told you the quality of the working paper will show the efficiency of the auditor. If he maintains good quality working paper, it shows his efficiency, the efficiency of auditor. They can be used as evidence in the court. Another purpose of maintaining working paper is they can defend the auditor in the court. They help the auditor in finalizing his report quickly. And the last purpose is it will help the auditor to finalize the report quickly. Ownership of the audit working papers. Another topic, that is the auditor who collects information through working papers for his audit work usually claims that he is the owner of the working papers. So he is claiming that since he made the working papers, so the ownership of the working papers belongs to the auditor. This is his claim. Here our topic is ownership of the audit working papers. That who is the owner of these working papers? Who will keep these working papers? Auditor or the company? So auditor is claiming auditor who collects information through working papers for his audit work usually claims that he is the owner of the working papers because he collects all these information, so he is the owner of these working papers. On the other hand, the company claims that the auditor was appointed by and he only acts as its agents. But on the other hand, company claims that since we hired the auditor, we are paying the fee to the auditor. He is an agent of the company. Now keep in mind, agent is a person, one is principal and one is agent. This is principal. Principal means owner. And this is agent. Agent is a person who is working for this owner for some fee, or you can say commission. So this is company now. This principal who is paying money to the auditor, the company is paying. So company claim is that we paid money to the auditor. We are making payment. So he is working on behalf of us. So we are the owners of the working papers. So one claim is from the auditor that we collected all this information. So auditor claims that I am the owner of the working paper, but company claims that he is an agent because we paid a fee for the audit. So these working papers belongs to us. There were several cases on this decision that who will be the owner. Hence, all the documents that the auditor had collected should belong to the company. So since he is working for us, so these documents belongs to the company. Several cases have been referred to the courts regarding the ownership. There are lots of cases on this issue. In one of the cases, it was decided that the working papers belongs to the auditor because he was an independent professional. But because of this thing that this audit is an independent audit, he is an independent professional and not an agent of the client, and he is not the agent of the client. So in this case, so these are not the ownership of the company. Since auditor is independent professional and not, he is not an agent of the client, means the company, he is not an agent of the company. So these working papers belongs to the auditor. In another case, also, it was held that the working papers belongs to the auditor. There was another case, and the decision of that case was also the same, that working papers belongs to the auditor. So there were lots of cases refers to the ownership of the auditing working papers, and in different cases court, the decisions of court, it was in favor of the auditors, that the working papers belongs to the auditors and not the company. And the last topic is the auditor's lien. What is the auditor's lien? The auditor, if has not been paid his audit fees, has the right to keep the books of accounts and other related documents in his possession till his dues are paid. It is the right of the auditor that he can keep all the documents with himself until his fees are not paid. If the company didn't pay the fee, so he has the right to keep all these documents. But if the company paid the fees, then he don't have the right to keep these documents. Such a right is known as auditor's lien. And this right of the auditor, it is known as auditor's lien. So auditor's lien, it is basically the right of the auditor to keep all the documents, to keep the books of accounts and other documents in his possession until his dues are paid. This right of auditor, it is known as auditor's lien. Now the last topic of this chapter, it is difference between accounting and auditing. These are 6 differences between accounting and auditing. It is a continuous process, accounting, carried out throughout the year. Throughout the year, the work of accountant, it will be carried out throughout the year on daily basis. But it is one-time activity after the closure of accounting year. But auditing, it is one-time activity, and when the year closes, books of accounts are closed, then one-time auditor will come and he will do the audit. So this is the main difference between these two. Number second, no prescribed qualification is required to be an accountant. If you have knowledge of accounting, so you can be an accountant. But in a company, if you know the audit, if you have some knowledge of accounting, so you can perform you can maintain the books of accounts, so you can be an accountant. Just like in Salam University, there is one person, he is an accountant, and his background is from what is Saqafat Islami. I don't know what you people call it. The second, auditing, he must be the member of any professional institution in the world to become an auditor. And for becoming an auditor, you must qualify any professional institution in the world, like just like ACCA, CA, ICMA. These are qualifications. So first you will pass these qualification, you will fulfill their required experience, then after that you can be an auditor. But for accountant, there is no certain qualification required. There is no requirement of certain qualification. An accountant is an employee of the company. Accountant is hired by the company, but an auditor is an independent professional. And you know about the auditor, he is an independent professional. And accounts gets a regular salary for his work. Accountant, he is taking monthly salary for his work. He gets remuneration for his professional work, that is audit fee. When auditor at the end of year, he will come and he will provide some services. So for that services, he will charge an audit fees one time. Accountant is concerned with the recording of business transactions systematically. You know, accountant, he is concerned with the recording of the business transactions systematically. Auditor is concerned with the verification of accounts prepared by the accountant. Auditor will keep this keep the record of these business transactions, and auditor will verify, will check these accounts at the end of year. Accounting precedes auditing. First there will be accounting, then there will be auditing. So precedes means that accounting comes first and auditing second. Auditing succeeds accounting, and audit is coming second and accounting is coming first. Means auditing succeeds accounting. First accounting and then there will be audit. So this is the main difference between accounting and auditing. So today we discussed about working papers, that which things will be included in the working paper. We discussed that audit program, audit notebook, appointment letter, debtors and creditors, opening and closing trial balance. Then we discussed about rules of the organization and memorandum and article of association, list of investments, adjusting journal entries, summary of the minute book, explanation sort, etc. There are a lot other things, other documents also coming that is used by the auditors. So these documents are called working papers. And then we discuss the purpose of maintaining audit working papers, why we are maintaining the working papers, what is the reason for maintaining the working papers. Then we discussed about the ownership of audit working papers, that who will be the owner of these working papers. So we discussed that auditor will be the ownership of the working papers. It belongs to the auditor and not the company. And then we discussed about auditor's lien, that auditor's lien is basically the right of the auditor to keep different books of accounts and different other data related to the company with him until his dues are paid. This right of auditor is known as auditor's lien. But after payment, after receiving your audit fee, auditor don't have this right. Before the payment of fee, he has this right that he can keep all the documents and other things related to the company with him. And then we discussed about the difference between accounting and auditing, that what is the main difference between accounting and auditing. So this is the end of this chapter. Inshallah, in the next class then we will start chapter number 3. So in that chapter we'll discuss about audit reporting, what is audit report, and in that the meaning of audit reporting, the objectives of that chapter, discuss the meaning and purpose of audit report, identify the various types of audit report, identify the contents of audit report, at which things will be included in the audit report. Then we discussed the reliability of the audit report, then different stages of audit, know general principles governing an audit, and discuss the concept of audit evidence. So inshallah, in the next class we will start this audit reporting. So for today it is enough. Inshallah, meet